feared and feared through Killarney. Now I'm back to hitching with the wind. But if Mickey Flynn should ever find me, I'll throw me caution all behind me and square off on that son of a bitch again. He cracked open a river too, he beat me Sunday through and through, and such over my unconscious frame. I won me healthy sheriff fights, well lucky son still had me life since Mickey Flynn beat me dumb and lame.
Welcome back to Whiskey Ramble. There's been a pandemic. We were completely wrong. And I can't hear Shane right now.
You can hear me.
Okay. All right. It was just dead silence, much like the pandemic. The last show we did was just talking about how it was just SARS-2. And, it would just pass. Well, it didn't. It'll be gone by November, but it didn't pass. That's what everybody's saying. But we were totally wrong. We apologize. We are assholes. I'm your host, Steve, accompanied by Shane. And we are back. We're doing things a little bit differently now. We're going to really focus on sports. We're going to obviously have our bullshit life talks as well. But you're going to see a lot more Flyers talks, Chiefs talks, Eagles talks. I'm pluralizing talks for no reason. But that's kind of what we're going to go for now. But if you don't want that, just let us know. Even though I don't see any comments ever. Shane usually gets them. But yeah, that's basically what we're going to go for. I will still be drinking, obviously, as I've woken up still drunk. This is an early morning pod for us. But,
which is impressive, by the way. I wasn't anticipating you pouring a glass at 9:47 a.m. But good on you. That's way to stay on brand.
I'm on vacation right now, all right?
That's fair. Are you on vacation because Steph's on vacation? I'm trying to do some things right now.
Cannot confirm nor deny.
Hurts.
But this won't be so natural as our usual shows. We're doing this on Skype. But please just bear with us. You'll still be entertained.
Yes.
But we're going to start off with the Flyers and the fucking embarrassing game that they just played in their game 2 against the Canadiens. And I kind of alluded to something like this, not to the actual what happened, but I was on the Bandwagon podcast with Ryan and Chip of PHL, I think it is. I'm not too.
You're just a guest.
Yeah, I'm just a guest.
You're just the guy.
Literally, it's all I am in life. It's just a guy. But I had mentioned, the center depth of the Canadiens. Suzuki, Domi, Kotkaniemi. That's
well done.
It's a name I can't say sober or drunk now. So, Dano, that they have this decent center depth, and it can cause problems if they match up against the fourth line. It wasn't just the fourth line yesterday, but it just kind of proved me right. Again, I'm always right in my analysis.
Always.
When it comes to the Flyers, yes. But it was just everything went wrong. Game 1, you could see hints of this happening in the future, but you try to chalk it up as it's bad ice. But this time, they're the first Eastern game for the day, and it's fresh ice, and they still cannot complete a pass to someone that's 3 feet away from them. They can't control the puck on any pass that goes to them, really. And it was baffling, and it was so pure typical Flyers, because they look so good. They look like they can be cup contenders, through that round robin, and even towards the end of the regular season going into the pandemic, they were basically a top 3 team in the NHL in 2020. And then come the playoffs, the actual playoffs now, and they're kind of shit in the bed. It's just typical. It's frustrating, and I spent all last night trying to rationalize, okay, why did this happen? I know we saw kind of hints of this, but let's try to find an excuse as Flyers fans. All I could think of was Claude Julien basically had a heart attack. Hope he's well, but they were playing for him.
Yeah, there is no rationalizing what happened. I'll be honest, hand in the air. I think there was about 11 minutes left, and I was like, I don't care that this is a playoff game. I am gonna do as NBC did, and I am going to turn this shit off, and I'm gonna go to another game. I was just infuriated.
Yeah, so was I, but I had to stick through it and actually watch a post-game press conference with Vigneault. I never watched them. I'll just go to
I didn't
Twitter.
watch it.
It's weird because they're doing it like through a call.
Like we are.
Yes, basically. But Vigneault's like, "Hey Sam, hey Francois," and they cut out when it became a French reporter too. That was kind of funny, but he was like, "Dude, we got our asses kicked." Like he didn't sugarcoat anything, which I appreciate, and it's just, if anything, I would like to see him be more pissed to the media, like really show his anger, but he didn't. But you could kind of tell that like he was going to go back to the locker room and really just let loose on them. But it's just, yeah, you got Voracek was actually playing well for him. Like in those games, usually Voracek's just a ghost, but like I could notice Voracek, he's trying, he's going after pucks, he's making plays, or at least attempting to. Giroux, I didn't really notice, which really saddens me. But I know he's always out there trying. Couturier just didn't have it. Kevin Hayes hasn't been able to protect the puck and just puck handle like he was during the round robin against this team. Konechny's ankle was, shot off at the end. And that's really concerning because he was such a huge factor in the regular season. And, the Lawton Hayes Konechny line was probably the best line again. Derek Grant is showing just kind of like
Got
he's
robbed.
just there. He's just like there, it seems like, right now, which wasn't the case in the regular season.
Yeah.
And I think I would change basically the entire lineup. I would juggle all these lines because I think I'm right in my analysis. You just go back to, if Konechny is healthy, I think you put him up with G and Coots. You have Voracek with Hayes and probably Farabee. And then you have Scott Lawton as the third line center with JVR and Aubie Kubel. And then I'm done with Nate Thompson again. He had that snipe in the round robin. He hasn't played terribly, but I just don't think he is enough for what we need right now. And if Raffle's healthy, you put him in there.
Honestly, if Raffle's healthy, I'm putting him in there for JVR. I can't watch JVR minutes out there. He's horrendous.
Yeah, and I keep saying that I think he should be in the lineup for the power play at least. But
power play. We're 1 for 38.
Yes, and you had an excellent tweet about, what was going kind of wrong with Provorov just constantly just shooting it right away. More or less, I think that was your tweet, and I agree, and I think that's why Ghost needs to stay in the lineup and be on that first unit again because he actually moves.
Well, I can't remember. So it led to a goal. I can't remember if it was on a power play or not, and if it was one of those winding seconds of a power play. But I believe both Provorov and Ghost were out there for a offensive zone face-off. I think it was G won it straight back, and they looked at each other and said, "No, I'm not getting it." And it led to an odd man rush and a goal. I believe it was the fourth goal on Carter Hart. I can't recall.
Yeah, I think that was still when I was at work.
Okay.
But that's they had good chemistry together in Hackstall's system, for a bit, and then they just separated them. And I think with the new system, Vigneault's system and Yo running the defense, it's just I'm not sure if they would mesh well. I think Provorov and Niskanen I think the top four is set, and I do having Ghost as like a third pair guy and like your power play specialist. I think that is his role really, unless he's on a lesser team, then he'll be a top four guy. So maybe Seattle, but we pray that they take JVR because I think we're both over JVR.
Yeah, I was over him before he even came back.
Yeah, I wasn't too excited. It was just a that happened kind of signing. I think we had both said that on when we were doing Always Next Year. But I still think that he could provide value on that top unit of the power play of just the net front presence. I think he kind of figured that out. That's what we wanted when we first had him, and he wasn't really doing it. But I think he figured it out, and he can do it, and he can do it well. But they're not using him in that way on the first unit, where the top guys are, and it's not working out right now. You have, Voracek on Provorov's power play goal in the first game, he did it very well, but I don't want him in that spot. It's just frustrating to see how well we played in the round robin and how shitty we have looked against Montreal. Montreal did this to Pittsburgh, and we all laughed about it, but now it's happening to us. I guess that's karma.
Yes.
But it's just Montreal, they're on you right away, and Flyers need quicker decisions. They just need to change. They need to use this whole day of looking at tape and practicing and just changing what they can do during the game. Because Kokiniemi, he's having a breakout playoffs, and Suzuki as well. Deneau is a very solid center. He'll do him. Max Domi is playing on their fourth line, and he's finally getting points against us, of course. Carey Price is Carey Price. I think he's the best goalie in the league, just on a shitty team, but the shitty team is now forcing us to really question ourselves in the playoffs.
Shitty team has played 6 better periods of hockey than the Flyers have. We won game 1, but that was, make no mistake about it, that was Carter Hart stealing the game.
Yes.
This has just been bad, into the actual playoff rounds. To sit there and see the first 6 periods after you went out and did what you did against Boston, did what you did against Washington, did what you did against Tampa Bay, you come out here against a team that they have some depth, but it's a true 8th seed. They really don't belong in the conversation of true contenders, and here they are making us look horrendous. And they play a different style, comparatively to what we saw in the round robin play-in. And it's just like you said. I would like to think we have pretty physical forwards for the most part. Sean Couturier is getting put on his ass 3-4 times a night. Kevin Hayes can't control or keep the puck, and he's getting put on his ass. They're bodying us around everywhere. There's no room to make any decisions, and we're sloppy. This is if you wanted to draw a blueprint up on exactly how to beat the Flyers, Canadians did it. And the fact that it's the first round matchup, even if we get by them, it just fucking terrifies me for whomever comes after, because all you have to do is look at the tape for this and realize the glaring weaknesses of what the Flyers have.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's weaknesses. It's just how to beat them. I guess that's a weakness in itself.
That would be a weakness.
All apologies, but it's just they matched up well with Tampa, Washington. Ovechkin hasn't even had a point against us this year, but against Tampa, we kind of handle them very well in the round robin. But again, that was the round robin after 4 months off with this pandemic, and the Flyers just came back, did what they do, and it worked. And I recall during the regular season, Vigneault would have one set way of entering the zone, and then he would adjust it, and that's how we would come back or just mainly dominate games. He would have the dump and chase before or after. It's not working right now. I think they need to just throw it in the trash, kick it, and scream it's fucking embarrassing, because it's not working against Montreal. And it's because Montreal has speed and they're quick on you on the puck, and the Flyers, they have to make these quick decisions, like I said, and they are doing it. It's just not. They need to successfully do it. They need to execute. It's frustrating to watch because they were making these passes in the round robin, and now they're not. And I think that's because these players are now on them a lot quicker than they were in the round robin. So I think that they can adjust. I hope they do. But I am currently fully ready for the Flyers to just fail us yet again. But they are in a good spot, for their future. It's just frustrating, and we can all, be homers and chalk it up to a pandemic and say, hey, it was all fucked from the start.
No, it was not all fucked from the start. The pandemic gave us a 1 seed. No,
Maybe that's the problem.
Well, look, we are an underdog city. It's corny as hell, and it's repetitive at this point, but we are. I don't know, man. I guess every time I looked at the Canadians, I didn't exactly see them as some, overly speedy team, but their close-in speed and just overall just awareness on the ice on the defensive side is insane. I mean, they're anticipating things, and like that, just like obviously we talk about it all the time for years. Like on the power play, there's 3 things that we do, and it's been the same 3 things forever. There isn't a lot of movement going on. If we can anticipate what's going on, there's no way that the best players in the world can anticipate what's going on. But they're doing that on 5-on-5. They're doing it on 5-on-3s. I mean, it's just not working. Everything the Flyers do, it's already anticipated by the Canadians, and they're closing in, and they're closing in fast. And we just don't have enough guys to sit there and be able to kind of overcome that. And I think the hardest thing is the youth, which I think right now looks the most energized, both on the offensive side and the forwards, or on the forwards and the defensive side. But you take a look at some of the, 30 and up guys right now, and dude, they look a half a step slow, like maybe even a full step slow at this point. I think that's why you're looking at a Claude Giroux who's, I don't want to say out of it, but he's not the presence that you would expect. He's not playoff Claude Giroux nearing a point a game. It's tough, I think, to ramp it back up after 4 months off for those guys. And if our captain and leadership group of veterans just don't have their wheels against a team like Montreal, dude, that's tough. I don't know how you overcome it.
Yeah, like you said, like Farabee, Albie Kubel hasn't looked the best, but he's still like been a presence out there. Yeah, he's definitely trying his best. They've actually like shown more. Giroux, like I said, I haven't really seen much of. But to be fair, I haven't.
To be fair,
I didn't really see much of I saw the puck drop, and then I got busy and I didn't see much until I got home for the 3rd period. But I knew I was trying to pop in, and I could see that we were basically getting dominated. It seemed like every time I looked at it, and they're taking a lot more point shots, on the power play again that you mentioned. Provorov, I think Ghost is kind of more aware. He can see the ice a little bit more in the offensive zone than Provorov. That's nothing against Provorov. It's just that's Ghost's forte, and I think he needs to be on that first unit. I'll keep saying it until I die, probably, or until he's not a Flyer, until he's a Seattle Kraken. That he needs to be on the first unit. He needs to be in the lineup. He needs to be on the first unit. He hasn't looked bad. He needs to be on the first unit because he can read it. Him and Giroux do have chemistry there. As long as Giroux's on that left side, they will have the chemistry. They can work each other for one-timers or eventually move it over to Jake for a one-timer. If you have JVR on the front of the net, he can, he's not quite Wayne Simmons, but he can at least block someone because he's just so fucking big, and that's pretty much all he's got.
Yes.
But there's some other things you said about the leadership kind of looking, I guess, lackadaisical. I think that's always kind of been a problem that we think, as fans, not knowing much of what's going on in the locker room, at all. I think that's where Kevin Hayes coming in kind of really helped them out because he's a new face. He's already just thrusted basically into the leadership role. He knows Vigneault's style, and he can help him. He's a personality, and it's not even working for him right now. He's trying, but it's just not working right now like it did, again, in the round robin. And it's frustrating, but, again, hopefully Vigneault will change this shit, and we can win Game 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, I would very much so like to not see this go to Game 6s and 7s anywhere.
There's a Game 7, and it's during work hours. I'm calling out.
There you go. I respect that. I think we're
lay down the line once I get back from my vacation.
That's fair. Once you get back from your time with Stephanie. Yeah, Yeah, I don't know, man. I take a look at at these 6 periods so far, and it's impossible because we did, through that round robin, I was able to sit there and watch this team find success without their stars. And I thought, man, if we have that kind of success without the stars, real presence at this point, coming into a playoff round, I'm feeling fucking great. Carter Hart's allowing 1 goal a night. We got guys like a Thompson sitting there and sniping, sniping over his shoulder. It's insane. I was like, oh, this is great. Now we start to get our Couturiers, our Giroux, our Voraceks kind of going. And then to see them not step up again, they've had now 3 weeks, I guess it's been in the bubble effectively, to kind of get their legs back under them. And if they're still not back, man, I'm fucking concerned.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It is very concerning, but I do think that they can work it out. And I'm just scared to say that I just think it might get pushed to a longer series than what we really want.
Which honestly, if it does, and if that helps us find our game, I think that there's purpose to sucking right now. Because we'll be able to get our vets.
There's never purpose to sucking.
Well, to extend it and to give, look, not that you ever truly
You're going back
want
to your
people.
trust the process Sixers module.
Whoa. I never heard of a process. It's never happened in this city. I don't identify as a fan of anything other than Flyers. We're specifically hockey now. Everything else can just go fuck right off. But it may not be the worst thing. Is what I'm saying is getting another couple games in. Obviously as long as you win the series, to kind of get your legs back under you for the Giroux and for the Couturiers and Voraceks. And obviously Voracek being, I don't know if he's just been under the weather off and on or hurt off and on, but him kind of being game time decisions a few times.
No, that's that whole COVID thing, They're
not saying anything.
Unfit to play, but Tuukka Rask did say when Tuukka Rask didn't play against us in the round robin, it's because he did have a cough, and he said, "Yes, I have a cough." So he had to.
He lied. Everyone lied.
He didn't know. All right, he's a Finnish. He's true.
Oh yes, the much better people.
He's Finnish. Yeah, he's Finnish. All right, but yeah. So my $25 bet on the Flyers put in the cup because I was that confident in them. I'm not feeling too great about it, but.
For sure not.
Man, I was on a hot streak, especially when I took that bet. But yeah, let's
do at the start of this playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. It was plus 1100, so I said, "Fuck it, I'm taking it."
I'm taking it.
But yeah. In fact, so to my betting, I've bet a lot of parlays, and I've been right on usually 3 out of 5 games with these
Maybe
playoffs.
You should stop doing massive parlays.
Nothing's
Nothing's changed.
I haven't bet in the past 3 days, but the whole playoffs as a whole, it's not the same, but it's just great to watch playoff hockey all day. So in one way, it's better, but in the other way, it's just the fans. The fans would have helped us out, I think, in that game yesterday, where say a fight happens, cheers, maybe it gets them going, but that's what you would like to think, but we're not 100% sure positive about it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like that because that would have, obviously would have been a game at home. We see the way that we've berated these players for the last, the existence of the Flyers, and this honestly still looks like the softest era of Flyers hockey ever in terms of what they can and cannot handle on the ice. I don't know how much that would really help them out.
I don't know. Nicholas Aubé-Kubel, I feel like he could feed off of it. Exactly.
Some of them would.
Joel Farabee, growing up here, he would be able to.
Joel from here, Farabee, of course.
But yeah, the whole playoffs though is just so entertaining to watch playoff hockey all day. It's the best thing that we could have in these trying times, but it's not helping me in my bets. And I keep watching this and thinking that should be an easy upset, and then it's not, or that should be an easy sweep, and then it's not. And then I see Bo Horvat on Vancouver and Quinn Hughes on Vancouver, and my friend's a Blues fan, and I don't know if they're going to win the series. I was just watching the highlights, and Bo Horvat was just dangling the whole time. It's ridiculous. He's just going full Messier right now.
He's insane. I watched that last night's goal, the O2 winner, like 15 times.
I was watching the highlights right before this, and Vancouver is kind of. I just want to talk about Vancouver because they are a team that, on the outside, looking at them like as they're forming this team, it's like, what the fuck are they doing? Is there a fucking vision? It doesn't seem like it, because yes, they're drafting, but then they're trading like a first round pick for JT Miller, and then JT Miller proves to be a phenomenal acquisition for them, and that they go out and sign Tyler Myers. They're a team that is run by a guy that's just like, fuck it, I'm going to do this and this, and it should work, maybe. Quinn Hughes, he seems to be like number one defenseman. They got Pettersson in the draft when we got Patrick. Hindsight's 2020. Maybe should have gotten Pettersson.
Hell,
no offense to Nolan Patrick. It's just concussions suck. Migraine disorder is just another word for concussions. But hopefully he's healthy for next year. But Vancouver, they have Pettersson. They got Horvat, and they got Horvat from trading Corey Schneider for that 9th overall pick. And it's
I'd kill to have Horvat.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think.
I feel
hindsight's always 2020, and me with my cap friendly and constant going back on drafts, fucking way of life. It's like, goddamn, just imagine this shit. This one fucking thing happened, where we would be.
All right, so I had to figure it out. I thought he had like 8 goals already. Bo Horvat, and he's got 6. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and they're not even just like easy goals. He's making these plays.
He's disgusting.
Yeah, so he's probably the breakout player of the playoffs, I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
And yeah, there's nothing better than watching the West. I'm happy that they stuck Pierre Maguire in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Because I fucking hate him, and they stuck him there. So
who's the third pick of the Nolan Patrick draft? I thought it was Pettersson. He went 5. Sorry, I got into a thing.
I'm not sure.
Fuck. All right, whatever.
I feel like it was a defenseman for some reason.
Maybe.
But yeah, I will look that up. You just keep talking about your Bo Horvat feelings or anything else that you feel about the playoffs right now. Because I've talked about how it's great, yet sad.
It is sad, but you mentioned that you said it's not the same. Dude, I think it's just as good as it always is. Like, I think each of the sports right now that have returned have said, this is the one sport I think that fans don't really matter. And I think that's bullshit. Fans always matter. But when you take a look at just the on the ice stuff, I mean, we're having 5 overtime games. We're having first day of the game constantly in overtime. Where leads are exchanging back and forth. I think there's 5 teams in the playoffs right now that won those round robin games that I'm like, how the fuck are we talking about this right now? And these teams in the playoffs, I think this is awesome. I think it's great for the sport. The fact that they're playing 4 and 5 games a day. There's hockey on basically from the time that you wake up and have your morning coffee and morning shit. Then you can go watch hockey straight until the time you want to go to bed or pass out, whatever's first if you're Steve. I think it's great.
They coincide with each other, all right?
You shit as you pass out? That's horrifying.
No.
What did I say?
Lay in bed or pass out.
Gotcha.
I lay in bed to watch the hockey and then I pass out.
God.
But yeah, I agree. It's just, I mean, the play hasn't like dropped off at all, it seems, but it's just, I think the whole atmosphere is really what I kind of allude to. And I was right. It was a defenseman after Nolan Patrick. It was Miro Heiskanen, who was a stud.
Yes.
But yeah, it is fantastic to see all day. Fuck. Martin Nikos was a fucking first round pick. Carolina scares the shit out of me. Man, if we even get past Montreal, Carolina will probably roll right through us.
They're good, man.
Rod the Bod, man, has figured this shit out with them. They played all well, and they were true analytics. Like,
Yeah.
Like the first like really like embrace it and like really use it. All
Yeah.
these teams are saying, hey, yeah, we hired this person for, our analytics department, but you see what they do and you're like, but what about that department? I feel like if you're listening to them, you're not going to sign this guy. And it's like, it's just crazy, but Carolina has like really gone all in on it, and they show it on the ice.
They're such a fun team too. I mean, they have so much grit, and they're just so clean. It's bizarre. Like I don't get it. Nothing about them makes sense. They shouldn't be. I mean, I think the series is tied 1-1 right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But they shouldn't. We shouldn't be having the conversations over the last 2 years that we've had about Carolina. But they go out there and they do what they do, and it's impossible to ignore them. And I agree, a team like that is probably one of the most dangerous in the conference.
Yeah, and they showed it last year when they made that run and then lost to Boston. But they have their revenge series now, which I believe they'll win. And Washington and the Capitals Islanders series is going kind of as I expected.
I don't even think that gets to a fifth game.
Really?
No.
I don't know, man. I think Ovechkin can take over.
I don't see it. I just don't. I think it's just because I don't want this to be misconstrued. I don't like this Islanders team, but I fucking like the Islanders team. Like, they're just good.
All right. So why do you say that? What's your reasoning for that? Because I agree, and I know my reason. I just want to hear yours.
First of all, I mean, they're coached brilliantly. That's a big thing. But they get, so for the last, I want to say like 3 years, they've had that conversation of like, oh, we're gonna have a really offensive minded defense, and we're gonna be able to beat you with both speed and strength with the blue line there. And I feel like this is the first year it's really clicking. And then I think the biggest thing for me, and this is a total like bullshit reason, but in my head, this is where I'm at. You go ahead and you lose the face of your franchise, and you just destroy people. It's insane. Nothing makes sense about that team. But when you go ahead and you lose Tavares, dude, and then you come up here and you're up. Well, I think are they 2 games to 1, or they only played 1 game?
I think they played 2. I think they're up 2-0.
That's what I think. I thought.
I will double check it.
I'm pretty sure it's 2. They have to have played 2 games. Yeah, they're up 2. I think they're up 2-0. And up 2-0 against a team that really is kind of perennially in the cup conversation.
Yeah, they're up 2.
And the Caps. Yeah, they're good, man. They're just good.
Yeah, my reasoning was just straight up a name, Barry Trotz.
Yeah, absolutely. And if Trotz knows how to beat someone.
A team that he coached.
Team that he coached.
To win a cup.
That's what I'm saying.
The team that he coached to get them over the hump and finally finish.
And not lose in a Game 7.
Yes. Beat the Penguins. And then go on and finish the deed. It's just, yeah. When Barry Trotz was fired, we criticize Hextall, for sticking with Hextall for too long, which is appropriate. But once Barry Trotz was available,
it didn't matter who was on your bench.
To me is a no-brainer.
Yep.
Yeah, and like you should have at that point said, "Sorry, dude. Appreciate what you did for my son, but I got a team to run and win a cup, and my plans worked so far. This guy's going to figure it out."
Figured it.
But it didn't happen.
It did not happen. I'm not in any way angry or sad over the fact that we ended up with an Alain Vigneault, who, by the way, if you guys listen to our show, I'm pretty sure this is a name that we did not drop a single fucking time when we had coaches available here.
Oh yeah, it definitely wasn't.
Like,
I was talking about Jay fucking Woodcroft.
Yes. But yeah, like I sit there and I'm like, man, Trotz, AV. Like, how do you not? How do you not? How do you not sit there and walk down during a fucking game, during a practice, and just be like, hey, Hack, goodbye. I apologize. This is what this is. Who the fuck doesn't hire this man? Blows my mind.
I know. It's like I said, it should be a no-brainer, but Hextall's trying to use his galaxy brain and saying, hey, we got to stick with this man for his contract, and then I'm going to hire someone, all right? He's going to develop these players. But he wasn't. He was playing fucking Dale Weiss and fucking...
Dale get benched in game 2 weeks.
Yeah. Dale Weiss, Joey Laterra, fucking Brandon Manning. But we're in a better place now. We are in a better place. Imagine this team with Nolan Patrick as third line center, Oscar Lindblom. Man.
Filling out that youthful second line.
Yeah. I mean,
I was so excited for the season early on to have the TK Nolan Patrick Oscar Lindblom line.
There's always next year.
There's always next year. Shameless plugging.
For a dead podcast that I came up with the name of, but it came out with Whiskey Ramble.
It's true. And now we're out on our own and significantly better for it.
Yeah, I would hope so. I just don't think this will be the best show with the Skyping, but...
Yeah, dude, this is weird. I'll be honest. Like,
face to face, you can be like, hey, fuck you. I can criticize your handwriting, your searching.
Over and over again. But yeah, it's gotten better on some of my other shows to sit here and do it. But I do find that whenever I do a show or or a conversation with just one other person, like the computer's here, and I'm pointing as if anyone listening to this can see.
Yeah. He's pointing at me directly, with all 5 fingers.
That's right, directly in front of me. And like a high functioning autistic, I'm looking up and to the left while I speak, and then I look down because eye contact terrifies me, apparently. So, but if we were in the same room, that wouldn't be the case. It would be normal. I would just be writing shit down and then asking Steve to read it when I no longer can. The drunk one, because lines get straighter for him when he drinks. That's just how it is.
This is true. I will never drink and drive, okay? I promise. All right. Now we're going to go to the life part. I'm permitted to drive, finally.
Please tell the listeners how old you are.
28. I'm 20 years old, and I'm finally permitted to drive. I am a fuck up for my whole life, and I finally made a step in the right direction.
And we're very proud of Steve for it. We very much so are.
Yes. I've always worked like very much in the vicinity of where I live, so I could always walk or whatever. But I don't know. I blame my parents, but it's also myself. My parents literally told me when I was younger, you have to get better grades and then we'll take you for your permit. That's true story and fucked up because they were on drugs.
Oh, God.
But yeah.
Listeners of the pod, by the way.
No, I would never tell my mother about my podcast. Well, I've told her about it, but I'll never tell the name. My dad has probably found it. He probably has nothing else to do besides wash dishes for his job and then go up to his room and go on the internet and find conspiracy theories and me.
There you go. I mean, they go hand in hand.
Well, yeah, I mean, he read all my fucking AOL Instant Messenger conversations and read them. That was awkward.
It's a violation of some shit. First of all, I thought
it's against the Constitution.
It is 100% against that. But I thought, so you're 28. I guess maybe it was there. I thought that stuff kind of went out, like by the time you came around. Like I thought the AOL Instant Messenger thing was like for like teens when I was a teen.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about like 2007, man. It was still there.
Are you shitting me? Was that like the broke people texting?
No.
Interesting.
No.
I don't know. Is AOL still a thing?
Yes. We've seen the emails the customers says yes.
Oh shit, man.
But yeah, that was the thing still. You know, that was how we communicated. And then Facebook Messenger took that over.
Yes.
I think that wasn't quite a thing yet. I think Facebook was just starting in like 2008. It
was LiveJournal or Zanga or MySpace. It was one of those.
Zanga, MySpace, Facebook.
Yeah, I was close. Not a social media guy.
My sister was so pissed at me when I made a MySpace. She was like, "This is my thing. I can't have you doing this." I'm like, "Listen, you're like 5 years older than me. I'm sorry, but I'm now at the age where this is a thing for me." And she's like, All right. And then I
Wow.
got a Facebook and I saw her, and now she has deleted all of her social media outside of Twitter.
Dude, good for her. I don't want to use social media at all.
Man, I would say good for her, but she's not having good experiences in therapy, and that's why I will never do therapy.
That's bullshit. You've asked me like 9 times for my therapist's number.
This is true, and then I think about it, and I'm like, it won't work. I'll just tell this guy I want to kill myself, and I'm in a fucking mental hospital.
Probably. But you never know, man. There's a lot of movies with mental hospitals where some of the patients in there are just total smokes. You can meet the next like actual love of your life there for an hour.
Yeah, Nurse Ratched.
Sure. Jesus. Just
Listen, Nurse,
computed.
Nurse Ratched could get it, all right?
Sure. Yeah, I'm bringing a bunch of stuff. Sorry, I got a text message mid-thing. I was confused. I didn't know what was going on.
All right. So One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Great movie, great book. Kind of hard to follow in the book, but if you can read, comprehend, you're good. It just takes a bit. But it's a fantastic book. I recommend it highly. And then you watch the movie, and then you're like, watching Nurse Ratched, you're like 13 years old, and you're like, this fucking cunt at
Yes.
13 years old. And then when you're 23 years old, you're like, this fucking cunt. I'm into it.
And then you're 28 talking about mental hospitals, and you're just saying she could get it. There's no cunt anymore. It's just she can get it.
Yeah,
The growth.
there's me, Billy Bibbit, just saying, yeah, I'd fuck Nurse Ratched.
Yes.
But other than that, let's talk about our bets.
Ooh.
You have seemingly been on a hot streak with your single games. I hit big on the FA Cup final, which was weeks ago. But I did a $15 bet on Arsenal to win. Aubameyang, that was horrendously mispronounced. Needed him to score under 14 corners and both teams to score. I won $150 on that. All
And
right.
how much of that did you put back into your savings?
So with FanDuel, I'm fine. I'm back down to minus, but I've only put $300 into FanDuel, and I've taken out $300.
Okay.
So everything in my account is a plus. Let's just disregard Sugar House. That's $250. They actually emailed me during this podcast saying, "Come back and win," which I
Wow.
won't.
If they give you money,
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
Dude, so I was talking about that with our coworker, the amount of different places you can place bets at this point now. And I have an account with all of them, and I just wait for them to give me shit, and then I just make like a $10 bet that's absolutely like a U bet, like an absurd bet, because it's not my real money. And I sit there, and every time after I inevitably lose that bet, I'm like, man, why couldn't I just make just smart bets with free $10 that they give me, and just kind of slowly work up a bankroll, take a couple short things, just build it up to 50, then make like a decent bet somewhere. But do I do that? No. DraftKings sends me $10, and I'm like, Ben Simmons over to hit 5.5 threes tonight. Done.
$50.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. My Sugar House is, completely zero, so that's a negative 250 there. FanDuel, I thought I added more to this account, which apparently was just $300. And since I've taken out that $300 once I hit big on that FA Cup, my profit loss is 170, and that's what I have in my account right now. So I'm betting with FanDuel's money.
There you go.
Every stupid parlay I take. And yes, I am still taking all the parlays. It's just $5.
It's only $5.
Exactly. Especially, it's not even my $5 anymore.
It is. You won the bet. It's yours.
Nah. Then we get this back anyway.
Oh. So
Speaking
Go
of, I am now going to place a parlay for every NHL game today.
Of course you are.
You talk about what you're about to talk about while I place this.
Go ahead and place your parlay. So I went on a like a 3-week stretch where I lost only one bet. Yeah, I think in that time I won 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11 bets. Sorry, I should have counted that beforehand instead of just into the mic softly to myself. That was strange. But 11 bets, and I'd only lost the one. So I built my account up pretty good back in, very much so in the positive. I don't know that I've ever actually got into the negative, now that I think about it.
Must be fucking nice.
Must be fucking nice. I've gotten really good at doing that because people say it often.
You can tell.
But since that, things have taken a bit of a turn, just a bit. So as Steve mentioned, for the most part, I take a lot of just single game stuff, and I try to build my account up. And then once I get to a point where I'm comfortable with, then I'll start, sitting in there and I'll put the parlays in. For a bit, that was working out. Then third legs of all my 3-game parlays just failed. That's how it goes. First 2 games hit, and I'm feeling good about things, and then you take the St. Louis fucking Blues at -1.5, and that was dumb. So I lost that bet.
You gotta pay attention to the cash outs, man.
So they didn't offer me a cash out. I was waiting the whole fucking day.
Really?
They never offered me a cash out, and I have no idea why. I was Googling it. I'm like, why would FanDuel not offer me a cash out on this parlay? Because I needed that. But then I mistakenly, I took a look over at the TV that was in the far corner. I was visiting family, and I had saw that it was I believe it was game 2 of the Coyotes and Avalanche. And it was 0-0. No, maybe it was game 1. Fuck it. Doesn't matter what game it was. But to this point, every playoff game was either a 5.5 for goals or 6.5 for goals. And I saw the line at 3.5 as I logged into FanDuel, and I'm like, this got to be a fucking glitch. So I immediately put a lot of money on it, not realizing
it was Colorado, Arizona, and that's because Darcy Kemper is a fantastic goalie.
He's good. He's not Vezina like you and your other DOE partners have said, but
hey, Borg was saying that, and I said that he could be that in the future, but he is literally the team. He is the team.
Well, when you're shooting 19 shots on goal a night, he kind of has to be the team.
That's why.
But I lost that bet because it was 27.5 minutes into the game, and I didn't realize it. So that was one of the most moronic bets that I could have made. And then I took a 2-team parlay, a live game thing with a run spread there, and the Mariners screwed that up 3 pitches later, so I felt real great about that. Then I took some power play, like just dumb shit. Like I needed 2 guys to score over 1.5 on the power play. Like that was just dumb. Like that's stupider than Steve sitting there saying it's only $5 and betting 14 games. But
Listen. All right. So the FA Cup game bet that I won that I mentioned earlier, that same day I had bet there was an odds boost on FanDuel, and it was Flyers and Avalanche to win. So I put $20 on that, and I got like 100-ish off of it. Those 2 bets are why I'm in the positive.
Yeah.
To be honest. But I have figured out what I'm taking today. I am taking Carolina over Boston, Arizona over Colorado, Tampa over Columbus, and Vegas over Chicago.
You taking just straight money lines?
Yeah. I'm putting $10 on this one. To win
Jesus.
111.
Okay. Big spender.
I'm confident.
Big spender.
Listen, with my job, you don't have that much money. So yes, this is a big spender bet.
Big spender. That's fair. So I've decided. So because I went on that bit of a run with FanDuel, I was like, you know what? I think I'm getting decent enough at this again, that I could sit there and start building this into my budget. I was like, you know what? If I win X amount of dollars, I'm going to have a house game for poker. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm attempting to set up like a regular card game with a bunch of the guys that I play baseball with. I'm sitting here and I'm realizing, like, man, I have gone full degenerate over this pandemic. I learned soccer for no reason. I was betting on soccer games. I was listening to Steve, and if
I was helping him.
And it didn't work. I lost
I was
every
winning
bet
money.
that he helped
I
me.
ended up winning money towards the end of soccer. All right.
You did well those
figured
last
it
two
out.
bets. Figured it.
I figured it out.
But yeah, I'm rolling right back to like early 20s Shane, where I was like, man, I don't need a job. I can just play cards. I'll make all my bills that way. And that is the absolute wrong way to think. If you're a human listening to this show, don't do that. I'm going to do it, but you shouldn't do it. Full degenerate status.
Tuukka Rask is leaving the bubble.
What?
The Bruins don't have Tuukka Rask anymore. Helps my bet. Glad I got it with Carolina plus money.
Where the hell? Is this a Twitter thing you saw?
Yeah. It literally just happened, 20 minutes ago. So Tuukka Rask is no longer playing in the playoffs. It's Yaroslav Halak's time. Maybe he goes, 2010 Halak in the playoffs, but then we can handle that because we did then.
Yes.
But, yeah, so
he's just straight up opting out. Oh, his wife is pregnant? Whatever.
I don't know. He wants to be with his family. I understand that.
No, yeah.
Many people will criticize these players for opting out, like during these trying times, but it's like this is a real thing now. We downplayed it in our last show, which was obviously wrong. But
very wrong.
You can't don't fucking hound on a player for opting out. They made millions of dollars already, more than any of us have made combined, probably. Let them be with their family, all right? They deserve it. They don't have to do this. It's a game. It's fun. They're good at it. They get paid for it. Let them just take a year off. It's fine. It's not like if everything was normal and say, JT Realmuto said, fuck it, I'm not playing this year.
So if he Le'Veon Bell'd it, you could be angry.
Yes.
But if he literally any athlete in 2020 did, you're a real dick if you're being angry.
Yeah. I mean, thank you for understanding where I was hoping you would go with it.
I got you.
Because JT Realmuto needs to be signed by the Phillies.
Very much so. Steve's now pouring, I think, your seventh finger in?
Oh, man. I don't even know. Because I had about this much of whiskey, and then about 4 shots as well. I don't know.
7 fingers.
It doesn't matter anymore. I will be drunk during the show.
It's 10:42 a.m., by the way, for anyone keeping track at this point.
It was a handicap. It was an asterisk. I was already drunk when I started it. I woke up drunk. But, yeah. Problem with the pandemic is I don't really have any real life situations to really lay out for us to bitch about or, ramble about.
Oh. Sure we do in some ways.
Do you have anything?
You getting feedback? I'm hearing myself in my head. It's fucking terrifying. I can't believe these people listen to us. It's like echoing. But yeah, real life situations. This is terrible. Real life. Now I can hear my voice fully. This is horrible. All right.
I can't hear myself, which is, if I could hear myself, this would have been shut down already.
Immediately.
I hate the sound of my fucking voice. All right. When I'm drunk, it's a no-no.
You're pretty good today, despite being drunk. Real life situations. Anyone who's been listening to this show or any of the other shows know that I've had, 95 knee injuries to my left knee. How the tables have turned in this moment. So Steve, for years, has been dealing with a knee problem as well. So over the years of our friendship, I have handed him all of my old braces or sleeves or anything to kind of help him out with his knee until he eventually genuinely hurt it and had to get surgery. He is working with my surgeon, and he now, for the most part, is a healthy knee and a relatively healthy human. Well, I'm running every night because I got obese out of nowhere. It took 10 years, but it feels like it was out of nowhere.
It's bad. We can see pictures of ourselves from 10 years ago, and
That's
now,
why-
and it just induces depression.
Yeah, dude, there's a reason social media shouldn't exist. I do not need to be reminded of how good I used to look compared to now. Like, I have no idea why Stephanie's with me. It's an absolute nightmare.
Also, I'll go back on mine, and it's Shane commenting on something I said, and me just making a joke about his knee, and then I tore my knee a year ago and had surgery. So, karma's it might
Real.
be a thing.
It's real.
It might be a thing.
So now here we are, fast forward to 2020, and I realize, man, I look horrendous. We can't go out and do anything because it's a pandemic still, basically. So it's like, I got to get myself right. I got to get myself in shape. I'm playing baseball still, but like, man, I'm clunky out there. It's horrible. So I start running every night. During a cool down lap, whilst walking during a cool down lap, suddenly my legs started feeling weak. I didn't know why. By the time I got towards the back end of that cool down lap, it felt like my knee was going to collapse. I had no idea why. Fast forward 2 days from that, or 3 days from that, I'm driving Steve home, and I turn to him, and I'm like, Steve, do you by chance have your brace from your last surgery? Looks at me sadly. He goes, yeah. He goes inside the house and gets it. And I've been wearing it ever since because you know why? My knee is completely fucked again. So if you want to hear some massively depressive and off-book Shane shit, buckle up. For the next several months, you're going to hear some shit. I got nothing else to do with podcasts now because I can't walk.
Yeah, it's sad. It's crazy.
No bueno.
Is it me? Is it me that causes your knee to just tear?
I don't know, but you hadn't made any type of joke.
I know. Well,
For
no,
years you did.
I have.
Well, not recently. Well, once I got hurt. But
It's usually just don't hurt yourself.
That's fair.
Yeah. Especially when we were working at the theater together, it was always just, hey, it's all right, I got it. Don't hurt yourself. I think maybe I'm the curse because my boss, he's like, yeah, we got our first baseball practice, and I'm like, don't hurt yourself. And then he like ripped his cornea or some shit.
Yeah, man.
Maybe it
Physical
is
angel of death over there. So thanks for that.
Yeah, so I've known Shane for like 12 years, 13 years, and he had a torn ACL when I met him.
Yeah.
He's recovering from that surgery. So that's why ever since I've been like, hey man, watch your knee.
Yep.
Just get a bionic knee.
Forever it's been the joke, and now I literally have a brace that is called Bionic ACL Stop Brace.
Is that what it is?
That is what it's called, the new brace, yeah. Which is bizarre, man. It's crazy. I can barely walk without a brace. Like, I can limp myself to like the shower or to the toilet or any necessary place in my home.
Well, like you said, you don't want to, be showering and then, your knee gives out and then they find you dead, real fat, naked,
shriveled.
Shrinkage.
Yeah, no one needs that. So it's a horrifying thing. But then I put this ACL bionic knee stop brace on. I can run.
Hold on, I'm sorry. That's when you're dying, but you just placed your hands right over your crotch.
Just like that Pompeii guy. You ever see that?
Yeah.
The explosions and the corpse. It goes, well, this guy went out the way that he wanted to, jerking off.
Well, no, I'm not saying jerking off. I'm just saying hiding the shrinkage.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Well, I mean, place one finger over it and I'm good. It's a shower, for fuck's sake. The water's going to be mighty cold. I'll be dead. Horrible.
Touché. As you were saying, though, I'm sorry.
But yeah, this ACL bionic stop brace thing, insane. Can barely walk to the shower. Put the brace on. I can literally run. Only straight and very slow, but I can literally run. I don't understand it. The technology advances and all of these things at this point is just absolutely bizarre. But Yeah, now everyone's starting to text me the Tuukka Rask shit. I know. I fucking know. Now I'm gonna place bets.
I'm on a smart podcast, okay?
Yes.
My thing is with the whole knee thing is I had a torn ACL for a year. And I had I had joked about how it was a complete tear, but I kept doing things. Like I would run, I would do my fucking kick-ups. I played fucking wiffle ball. Kick-ups. I don't know, like when I'm on the floor and I flip myself up.
I thought it was a
I
soccer term, but I do know now, yes.
No. My ninja flip, I guess. I don't know.
There it is.
I don't know. I don't know what to call it. That's the shit I can do. I could probably still do it, but I'll probably tear my ACL again. But
that's not true. You tried doing it in the bank the other day. I think you actually were successful.
Yeah, it's just the weight keeps me down. So once I lose this weight, I'll be able to do that. But my friends want me to play some softball with them, and I'm just scared because of my knee. I just know it's gonna go again.
It's horrifying.
But you got anything else? Any plugs you want to do?
Well, you should always visit our guy Asian Rob. He's fantastic over there at Just Food. 215-794-FOOD. 215-794-3663. Treat yourself. Take it home. I do all the cooking in my home, and every once in a while I like to be lazy. So at least once a week for the last year and a half, I have stopped over to Asian Rob's shop, and I walked in, and I'm just like, hey, Rob, put anything in a box for me, and I'll take it home. He's put green shit in a box, and I've even liked that. There's not a single thing from Just Food that I have not absolutely loved. So if you're in the Bucks County area, there are two places you can go. You can either go to the Mart in behind Del Valle College, so it's just the Del Valle Food Mart. That is where their larger kitchen area is, and then their actual store location is in Buckingham Green Shopping Center in Buckingham, PA. So both kind of just outside of Doylestown, if you're kind of familiar with that area. But definitely visit Asian Rob. And then some personal plugs. Our Phillies podcast does 3, sometimes 4 shows a week at this point. We got another guy who does some YouTube content. I think some of them even write. I'm not entirely certain anymore, but it's Chasing the Pennant Podcast. You can find us on Twitter. It's at ANYP Phillies. And then you can find me on Twitter. It's at Shane_Mead.
All right. And me? I'm me. At Shmee324. Just follow me on Twitter. I don't post that much. I'm trying to work on it. But I have been on some podcasts. I went British for a second. Podcasts. I have been on some podcasts. The Bandwagon podcast. It's at PHL The Bandwagon. Ryan Michaels and Chip Tiernan. They interview me from time to time for the Flyers. They talk about all Philadelphia sports. Honestly, I've never listened. I'm an asshole. I'm also part of the Disciples of Ed with Rob from the Always Next Year podcast. That's at Disciples of Ed, I believe. I don't know. I'm not going to check it.
Yeah, it's at Disciples of Ed.
But yeah, that's where you can find me. We also have our own Twitter account, which we are going to start working on. It's at Whiskey Ramble Pod, I believe.
Whiskey Ramble PC.
Whiskey Ramble PC when we are not PC.
Yeah, at all. So, this podcast doesn't fit.
So just understand the humor of it, please. If you're watching this or listening to this, I'm sorry, I'm watching Shane. Please, if you're listening to this, you'll understand the irony and the sarcasm. And as usual, it's towards the end of the show where I've reached my drunk limit.
It's the first time I don't have to drive him home. This is so weird. This isn't the show.
I know. So just a final note is that he will be driving me home in episodes in the future. Because I'll be honest, I'm not sure if this was our strongest episode. It's just our attempt at a comeback, which we will be coming back, much like the Chiefs did in every single playoff game while they won the Super Bowl.
Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year. I don't know if you guys watched.
But yeah, it'll be more, fluid and, just more human for us when we're actually in the same room. Yeah. And more entertaining, I assume, for any listener.
More entertaining for us, too. Shit.
Yes, that as well. But yeah, so thank you for listening again. Please, follow us and just give us comments. I would really like to hear the comment or see the comments about the kind of change that we've done where we're talking more sports, focusing on more sports. If you don't want that, I can start that separately and then go back to what we were doing before of just betting and just our bullshit lives.
When
right.
our lives are able to come back.
Yeah, that too. So yeah, thank you and have a fantastic week.
A fighting man I used to be, revered and feared through Killarney. Now I'm back to hitching with the wind. But if Mickey Flynn should ever find me, I'll throw me caution all behind me and square off on that son of a bitch again. He cracked open a river too, he beat me Sunday through and through, and such over my unconscious frame. I won me healthy sheriff fights, well lucky son, still have me life since Mickey Flynn beat me dumb and